like in the real UFC, he'd probably tackle him down and just to save my life. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I mean, instead of boxing where you're allowed to, I mean, one of the UFC's virtues is that it's supposed to be safer, despite the fact that it looks more brutal.
That's actually that looks brutal.
That is pretty brutal.
Whatever he just did.
That is definitely brutal. But in order to save the guy who's getting his ass kicked in boxing, the getting up and knocking down, is supposed to be worse than what's going on right now on the screen. But I mean, look, okay, so the ref's in there and he's like, whoa, too violent. I gotta get out of there.
Yeah.
In the real UFC, he like knock Anderson Silva over and get involved.
Yeah. So I probably they're saving some kind of player controlled referee type thing for the next UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where you can control the
Obviously.
actual referee and probably add a TLC match or something like that as well.
Yeah.
And managers and.
Yeah, obviously. And then there will be say yes to the dress. So you can, during the intermission, I'm going to stop talking because I'm not allowed to let people know I watch shows about brides. It's my mother. I hate her.
So I got rocked, and the myth is it proven? Is it busted? I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, you held up, but I mean, it's pretty. But okay, so you can hold up by button mashing because X, square, triangle, circle. I mean, that pretty much gets the basic punching down. But
yeah.
Once I had you in the clinch, on the ground, you couldn't really do anything. I mean, that's just a virtue of lack of tutorial.
Yeah, but the game is deep. Like there's so many different, obviously, martial arts that are in the game. So it's definitely online when you get someone that really knows how to use a certain character. You kind of want to counter it with your own kind of way of playing. It's very tactical from what I understand.
Yeah, you never want, like, for a Muay Thai fighter like Anderson Silva, you never really want to get up close to him because he'll start throwing elbows and Muay Thai knees into your body. But the online mode is definitely very deep. You can take your created character in it, which I believe is once you retire, either you win a belt in the career mode and retire your fighter. I believe you can take them online.
Yeah.
And the online's pretty cool. I haven't spent much time with it, but it's apparently pretty lag free.
But there isn't really any championship type style, which apparently EA is putting in Fight Night 4.
Yeah.
It's pretty much there's a lobby if there is one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically like Street
one,
Fighter 4.
Yeah, and you do 1v1 type of fighting.
Then there's classic fights, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So we'll talk about that later. So we're gonna add tutorial.
Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it. Spoiler alert. So they get knocked out. So creative fighter, which you'll actually see in career mode. So I mean, the options are pretty scanty in terms of modes. But I mean, career mode is relatively deep, and you gotta also consider there's 5 different weight classes. So we're jumping into basically create a fighter for your career mode.
Which obviously Ukes is very familiar with, considering like what they're like on their 15th SmackDown game now.
Well, yeah, and this is pretty much a SmackDown creative fighter to the T. I mean, down to the menu system. This is SmackDown. So yeah, I mean, obviously basic stuff. You can change first name, last name, nickname, which is actually the name that will be announced because they can't recognize your real name, unlike you can see in some soccer games, which has done in NHL games.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if I make my character Alex in Pro Evolution or FIFA 09 or NHL 09, they'll say, oh, Alex. They won't say my last name, but they'll say, Alex takes the pass or something.
Okay.
Which is really clever. So I'll be the Grim Reaper.
So just in case you have a very complicated name, just stick to the nicknames.
Yeah, pretty much. So USA and Canada is lumped together, not North America, and Nova Scotia is also not part of Canada apparently.
They've been annexed. They're actually pulling at Quebec. They're trying to
Yeah, pretty much. So you pick where you're fighting, where you're born, and we'll pick the city of Quebec.
Apparently, there's only 7 cities in Canada.
There is indeed, yeah. Well, I mean, Bruce Buffer's only announced these so many times, so
that's true.
You can't be born other than where other UFC fighters have been born already. And then you pick fighting out of. Again, Canada's separate, and apparently Nova Scotia not represented here, but
No.
There is Woodbridge, Ontario, and if
anyone that lives in the area or knows what it is, you are laughing right now.
You know already. and I'm supposing there's you can put your height as well. I'm supposing there's a couple fighters in the UFC that are hail from Woodbridge. Woodbridge. I don't know, but I'm just gonna say that there is.
By the way, if let's say you make your guy huge and like you make him really tall, through your career, can you like thin him out a little bit?
I think you
and
can.
Go into the lower classes, or can you bulk him up and go into the heavier stuff?
I think you can. I think up to a certain point you can.
Okay.
You can like switch weight classes, like as they do in the real UFC. They do it all the time. So one thing I did notice is that this hair is actually the same hair from another UFC fighter named Johnny Oro. So when I was actually fighting him, I didn't pick it. Whatever. Like I'm bald. When I was actually fighting Johnny Oro, it was oh, there we go, Woodbridge now. when I was actually fighting Johnny Oro, it was weird because we had the same hair but different faces.
Nice. It's the same hairstylist, I guess.
Yeah. And we'll give him a Durstache.
Yeah, and as far as the graphics go, I am impressed by it. The models look really, really well done. And as far as like the animation goes, it's definitely top notch. It's one of my favorite fighting games as far as that goes. It's really fluid. It's all done by motion cap, and hopefully Ukes takes a hand from this and throws it in the SmackDown game, because that game, as far as animation goes, it sucks. Terrible collision detection.
Yeah.
But this game nails it.
Collision detection in this one is really good. I mean, the combat is. I mean, if they didn't get the striking down, there would have been some heads rolling. I think.
For sure.
So we'll pick a flag. We'll pick the flag of Croatia.
Yeah.
Which is my homeland. That is ugly as sin, but you know what? We're gonna leave it. It looks like a captain.
Anyway, if you want to jump into the next menu-driven.
Too many
section.
menus. Let me go back. I'm just pounding on the circle button right now.
Just pounding it.
I'm just pounding it. There's just too many bloody menus to go through.
My God. It's faster to just reset my PS3 and start over.
And install the game to your hard drive, in fact.
Probably. For the third time.
It's like Assassin's Creed for PC, which takes 5 clicks to get out of the game from the menu. Just Alt 4 that stuff. Alt F4.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you start showing us the next feature?
It's not my fault. It's the Blu-ray. It's the power of the Blu-ray.
The power of the blue.
So classic fights. So classic fights, basically the goal of it is to replicate fights in UFC history that have played an important role in promoting the UFC brand. So this is from The Ultimate Fighter, the classic fight between Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. Stephen Boner and Forrest Hairy Chest Griffin. Yeah, so basically you fight through these, and you have to complete a certain knockout condition or certain victory condition. So for instance, Chuck Liddell versus Rampage Jackson. So knockout Chuck Liddell in the first round with a KO or a TKO. And if you do that, you actually unlock the actual video of it happening, like you would have seen.